stadiums shrouded in silence. But if you listen closely, you'll hear echoes of the summer game. The joy of great deeds breaking winter's spell. For now it's spring, the season of renewal, the season of baseball's rebirth and its eternal symbols. The spring phenom, the rookie who may turn summer into a personal showcase. The veteran hoping to coax one more year out of aging legs. The cogitating manager with a face that holds rein. Through generations, listening to reality, we've created fantasy.
Watson without too big of a lead in second, but he'll be running like the wind if Thompson hits one. Ranker throws. There's a long tag. It's going to be in the lead. The Giants will repel it. The Giants will repel it. The Giants will repel it. Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
More than any other sport, baseball is built on memories. Memories handed down from fathers who saw Ted Williams play, or Joe DiMaggio. Memories from sports pages telling of Ruth and Cobb. A season of dreams. A boy unwraps his first pack of baseball cards and opens a world of wonder that will transform his life to the end of his days. Because baseball is a game without a clock, and so it is seamless, a tapestry of incident. The home run. The strikeout. The steal. Baseball is a game that enthralls us, ensuring our hopes as well as our memories, enabling us to look ahead, even as we remember over a lifetime enriched by the splendor of the past, as we approach a season of dreams. Baseball, 1990. Hello everyone, I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to A Season of Dreams, our look at the 1990 baseball season as we here at CBS Sports kick off our coverage of Major League Baseball. This is the time of year when most everyone is a dreamer. Every team is a contender, every pitcher is a 20-game winner, every hitter is a 300 hitter. But the 1990 season promises to be a little different, simply because of the baseball lockout. And the question is, how will that lockout affect what we're going to see? For 3 weeks, the hopes and aspirations of a nation and its pastime were kept behind lock and key. Then on Monday, March 19th, a baseball-starved community breathed a sigh of relief as players went to work to make up for lost time. One of the groups affected by the short spring, players on the mend. Dave Winfield of the Yankees missed all of last season following back surgery, and the 38-year-old is now missing much-needed playing time this spring. Cardinal pitcher Danny Cox is recovering from arm surgery. The shortened camp means he'll start on the disabled list.
For myself and a couple other guys that were injured in 3 weeks, we just can't do it.
Usually, this is an active trading time of the year. Last year, 20 deals were made during the spring. There are considerably fewer this year.
What it's done is frozen up everybody to get their own people ready, and I just don't think general managers have even had a chance to sit down and think about trade.
Some managers are in the same boat. Lou Piniella abandoned Steinbrenner's ship to call the shots at the helm of the Reds. Time is not on his side.
Well, it affects us probably more than other ball clubs. We got a new manager here, a new staff, and it takes time to really learn your ball club.
On the other hand, the world champion Athletics have the luxury of standing pat with a winning hand.
Our roster is pretty well set. There isn't a lot of decisions that we had to make, so that you would need a lot of innings or for pitchers or players. And we pretty much know what we think works, so we're going right to it.
The lockout was a boon to some, like 40-year-old Bill Buckner, who took his cuts for 6 weeks with the minor leaguers and as a result earned a spot back with the Red Sox.
This is my last year, and I'm fighting to make a ball club, and it means a lot to me to make the team and to try to go out in a good way.
As a result of negotiations with the players, management agreed to an expanded 27-man roster that was intended to lighten the load for pitchers. But details couldn't be worked out, and roster sizes were trimmed back to 24.
It's awful silly to get somebody hurt. When you're trying to keep players healthy, and then we're going to make decisions that have a good chance to hurt players. That scares me.
But don't fear, Sparky. Management restored the 27-man limit, and younger players will enjoy some prime time.
A guy like me, you have to go beyond the Call of Duty because I am a two-sport athlete, and you really have to show up a lot better than other guys may have it. So it's really given me a little extra chance, but I think I've been playing good baseball and been trying to help out as much as possible.
Joining me now is baseball analyst Tim McCarver, a member of our CBS Sports baseball crew. And Tim, you've seen a fair number of teams this spring. What do you think the effect of a short camp is going to be?
Well, mainly injuries, lower body pulls. You're seeing a lot of it down here in Florida, groin pulls, quad pulls, hamstring pulls. I think they're going to increase as the season goes along. As Whitey Herzog says, more major injuries are going to come out of that. Also, fundamental play. I mean, how many times have you heard managers talk about, we're going to spring training to work on fundamentals? Well, it's been a short time, and I don't think you're going to see the quality of play in April and May that you usually see.
All right, now, the kinds of teams that'll get off to a good start with a short camp.
Teams with strong pitching. California, Oakland, Kansas City, the Dodgers, San Diego, surprisingly the Atlanta Braves, and of course the New York Mets with 6 strong pitchers.
All right, Tim, we'll take a time out here, and when we come back, Tim will introduce you to 2 youngsters who are hoping 1990 will be their season of dreams. Stay tuned.
A Season of Dreams, Baseball 1990, is sponsored by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. The Bic Metal Shaver, it stretches your skin for a better shave. And by John Deere, nothing runs like a deer.
You know, every spring in Major League camps from Florida to Arizona, general managers, and fans are all looking for that boy wonder, that young phenom who could pop up from nowhere and lead his team to greatness. The Houston Astros are looking at Eric Anthony, the fine young outfielder with a world of promise. Then there's Ben McDonald, the #1 draft choice overall with the Baltimore Orioles. The Chicago White Sox have Robin Ventura. Our Tim McCarver has his eye on, not surprisingly, a couple of young catchers. He says don't lose track of Todd Zeile of the Cardinals and Sandy Alomar Jr. of the Cleveland Indians, who started on their roads at a very early age.
I told my dad, hey, look, you know, for Christmas, I want that. But I got to have on here. That's a catching gear. I said, I want that. And then he told me if I wasn't going to wear it, you know. I said, because I'm going to waste the money if you're going to wear it. I said, hey, I'll wear it. Don't worry about it. So for Christmas Day, Santa Claus, he bought me the catching gear.
I was a little bit bigger than a lot of the kids my age, and I wasn't afraid of the ball, and I was probably dumb enough to put the gear on and get back there right, you know, at an early age. So I enjoyed it from the beginning and stayed with it.
Catching, tough position. Dick Allen used to say the best way to play first base effectively was to swing the bat. Well, catchers don't have that luxury. Sure, they have to hit some, but more importantly, they have to deal with 9 or 10 pitchers individually, and that could put even more heat on a rookie catcher.
When you break into the big leagues as a catcher, you've got to learn a brand new pitching staff, and that's something that you can't learn overnight, and it's something that you know, you have to be patient with.
In the big league, you have to do more and learn things faster, be consistent. And I think that you're going to get to learn the pitching staff during the season, not during the spring training.
The Cardinals have been grooming Todd Zeile since 1986. At every level, his ability and zeal for the game has been rewarded with all-star status.
Last year, if we could have traded Tony Pena in midseason, we would have traded him and brought Zeile up and put him behind the plate, because we felt Zeile was ready to play as early as last June.
Whitey called me into the office the first day and said, hey, kid, you're up here. This is not do or die. This is experience. Have fun, relax, do what you did in Louisville, and you'll be fine. You're going to be my catcher for years to come.
Sandy Alomar Jr. was also a can't-miss prospect, but the Padres were blessed with another talented young backstop who was just a step ahead of him.
How many guys, how many players have come from the minor leagues twice the AAA Player of the Year? If Benito Santiago hadn't been in San Diego, he probably would have been in the major leagues last year.
I had a great career in the minor leagues, but I have something to prove in the big leagues, and it's going to be this year.
This year, Alomar will play for Cleveland, and to help him adjust to the big leagues, his dad, Sandy Sr., has passed along some fatherly advice.
You're going to be in the big leagues now, and I want you to take advantage of that. You know, it's not just get to the big leagues and keep yourself in the big leagues.
What I told him is that he doesn't have to try to go over there and prove anything. He should do the own work with his abilities, try to be himself, not to try to prove anything more than that.
Zeal also has a former athlete lending him support. His wife, Julianne McNamara, the Olympic gold medal gymnast.
This is a dream for him. This is like his Olympic trials right now.
If I go for 5 days in a row and I'm calling her from the road and telling her how terrible I've been, she just says, hey, what can you do? You got tomorrow?
After a few years of being the catchers of tomorrow, Alomar and Zeal are now the rising stars of today.
That backstop position is an awfully tough position at which to excel if you're a youngster. Consider the fact that there have only been 5 catchers in baseball history who have been Rookies of the Year. The last one was Benito Santiago back in 1987. Then came a golden age for catchers. In one 5-year stretch beginning in 1968, there were 4 who were Rookies of the Year. But back to Mr. Zeal and Mr. Alomar Jr. Tim, what are their chances?
Well, I think their talent dictates that for the first time Major League Baseball may have 2 catchers as Rookies of the Year. However, from an individual standpoint, Alomar is going to have a tougher time with Cleveland. Cleveland does not have a history and a tradition of winning. However, the Cardinals do, and for that reason, I think it's going to be easier on Zeal. He came up through the farm system. Alomar was traded. I think it's going to be a lot easier for Zeal to adjust than it will Sandy.
Okay, well, not only do baseball fans have to adjust to the new faces that the rookies bring to Major League Baseball, but this offseason has been one of the busiest ever as far as players changing addresses. Pat O'Brien says, pick up your scorecard and adjust to the familiar faces who've moved on to different places.
Remember the old days when you could count on a few things in baseball, like Carew hitting 300, Mike Schmidt winning a Gold Glove, or Seaver striking out 200? And remember the days when the guys on your baseball cards would still be wearing the same uniform on the next card? Well, times, they are a-changin'. Well, change is good in any sport, but this is ridiculous. We stopped counting at 40 players who will change uniforms again this season. Let's begin with 2 guys named Davis. No blood relation, but the color of their money is the same. Mark took his Cy Young from San Diego to Kansas City. Storm left Oakland for KC. Mark Langston has changed uniforms on his 3rd baseball card. A money player who literally is going to Disneyland. He'll play in Anaheim. The Cobra, Dave Parker, comes from a world champion team, bringing some championship dreams to Milwaukee. Oh, and remember the New York Mets stable infield and co-captains? Look for the kid in Candlestick, and the Mex is now an Indian. Noteworthy elsewhere, the Reds and Mets swapped lefty stoppers, Franco for Myers. And speaking of relievers, the best of the 80s is leaving the Twin Cities for Beantown. How about familiar faces in different bodies? The Oprah Winfrey Award goes to Ron Hasse, who lost 40 pounds, so there's nearly a 1/5 of a ball player gone. Lenny Dykstra gained 25, but lucky him, it's 25 pounds of muscle. Bo Schembechler will now be throwing his weight around at a ballpark as president of the Detroit Tigers. Pete Rose may be out of baseball, but there's always slow pitch. Charlie Hustle has been nestled in St. Petersburg, occasionally umpiring a 70 and older group. And occasionally he likes what he sees.
Win Hustle.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Pat O'Brien, CBS Sports.
As they say out at the ballpark, keep your pencils and scorecards ready. We'll take a time out here, and when we come back, we will look at the toughest division in baseball. But first, a look at a couple of ball players coming up on baseball milestones in 1990.
Power stroke going. You've got confidence that nothing's going to beat you. Introducing Power Stick, the new antiperspirant that gives you 24-hour odor and wetness protection in just one wide stroke. It takes 2 strokes of the leading stick to match Power Stick's 1-stroke protection.
You know, you only have to go back to the year 1987 to find folks referring to the American League's Western Division as the AL Less or the AL Worst. In fact, that year, 4 teams in the American League East finished with better records than Western Division champ Minnesota. And of course, the Twins went on that year to stun the baseball world by knocking off the Cardinals in the World Series. But there's no question now that the American League West is not just the toughest division in the American League, but in all of baseball. And for defending champion Oakland, just getting out of the wild, wild west this year may be their toughest task of the season.
Living in the wild, wild west. The wild, wild west. The wild, wild west. Wild west. Oh, wild west.
There was a little bit of jealousy, a little animosity, but it was great playing in that division because you didn't have to win many games to win. It's tougher now. We won 93 games last year, I think, and came 5 games out of first place. So it's just good to be known to be in the best division in baseball. However, it's tougher to win.
Ignition and liftoff.
The American League West has literally taken off over the last 5 years. In its meteoric rise, the division has captured 4 pennants and crowned 3 different World Series champions.
I saw it coming, and a few years ago I said, look at this American League West. They have all the best young players in the game, and they're not only a few of them, there's many of them on all the teams, and sure enough, it's now a very tough division, and I'm proud to be in it. I think it's great, and I think the team that wins the American League West can hold their head up proud as saying they won the best that there is.
With the balance having shifted so dramatically, the West is by far the best. The least is now in the East, and those out West are getting even stronger.
I'm back in the saddle again.
Gene Autry hopes to finally be riding off into baseball's sunset. The Angels owner signed Mark Langston from Montreal, which now gives California a starting pitching staff that boasts an earned run average of just 2.9. And manager Doug Rader thinks it's going to take triple figures to win the title.
I think that we've got to contend ourselves with winning 100 games. Whether or not that'll beat Oakland, who knows? But I think that 100 games is going to be the magic number.
This division is so strong it'll even get the daily attention of President Bush. Of course, it doesn't hurt that his son owns part of the Rangers. And then there's Bo. We all know Bo. But did you know the Royals now boast both 89 Cy Young Award winners? But it might not make a difference because the A's are favorites to repeat. Even though they lost 3 key players from last season's championship club, many believe the A's have the makings of a dynasty.
Have a lot of ability, are really superstars, so I figure the dynasty started last year, and hopefully we can continue it to 3 or 4 more years.
And we're being compared to the Oakland Athletics ball clubs of, the 70s, and those were great ball clubs, and, just to be mentioned in the same breath with those clubs has got to be an honor for us, and it gives us something to shoot for.
And this entire division, baseball's best, the American League West, will be trying to shoot down the A's. Time for one final timeout, and when we come back, Tim McCarver rejoins me, and we'll talk about who might challenge the A's, and we'll look at the other divisions in the major leagues as well. First, a couple of more players coming up on baseball milestones this season. Less than 48 hours from the start of the baseball season, we might as well take our run around the major leagues, Tim. Beginning with that tough American League West, toughest division in baseball, do you see the Oakland A's repeating?
Yes, I do. I don't think the loss of their 3 players, Parker, Storm Davis, or Tony Phillips, I think Tony Phillips is the biggest loss. I don't see that they can't replace those players adequately. Still a great pitching staff in Canseco and McGuire.
If anyone is going to knock off the Oakland Athletics, I think it's these guys here, the Kansas City Royals. If you talk about pitching being as important as we all know it is, I don't know how you can beat the Royals simply because, if for no other reason, they've got 2 Cy Young Award winners on the staff.
Mark Davis, one of them, and the big thing about the Royals pitching staff is that they've got the starting pitchers to get the Royals in a position where Davis can save. Davis, the Cy Young Award winner last year with 44 saves.
Let's jump to the American League East, where you think it's almost anybody's ball game there.
Well, the American League East has had a sense of sameness about it over the last 5 years. I think you could pick any one of 6 teams, any team but Detroit, and have them win the American League East. But I like Milwaukee, with the exception of the injuries that they've had right now. I mean, Paul Molitor, you sign a $3 million contract and you end up breaking your thumb horsing around. I like Paulie, but I don't understand that one.
Yeah, I tell you, I do like the Toronto Blue Jays. If for no other reason, they've got Cito Gaston as their manager for a full season now. They like him. They play well for him.
You got Mookie Wilson for a full season, the guy who taught them how to win last year.
Okay, let's go to the National League East, where the New York Mets have a rejuvenated Darryl Strawberry.
It'll be interesting to see what Strawberry does out of alcohol rehabilitation in February, but when you talk about the Mets, you have to talk about their pitching staff. 6 strong starters. Ojeda starts the season in the bullpen. Look for a trade for a short reliever in late April and early May.
Chicago Cubs come back with basically the same team that won the division. My big question, and I'm sure a question for Whitey Herzog, the St. Louis Cardinals, how well their injured pitchers come back. He can't afford to lose them.
Also, you got to get Vince Coleman back on track. I mean, here's a guy who stole over 100 bases 3 years in a row.
Okay, National League West, I think the San Francisco Giants will have a tough time repeating. They don't have the pitching.
No, they used 15 starters last year. You got to have an established rotation. That's why I think the Dodgers are going to finish ahead of the Giants, but I think San Diego's going to win it with Joe Carter.
Yeah, I think San Diego is going to come along strong. And if we're talking about good individual players in each league, I think Joe Carter is going to have an outstanding year because I felt he was the best outfielder in the American League, never to make the All-Star team.
Glenn Davis, an underrated player in Houston. I think Juan Samuel is going to be rejuvenated under Tommy Lasorda and the whole Dodger atmosphere. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Dunston won the Most Valuable Player award.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Tony Gwynn up at the top of the batting averages come the end of the
Wade
season.
Boggs or Kirby Puckett to lead the league in hitting, right?
Timmy, thank you very much. Look forward to it. In fact, 1 week from today, CBS kicks off its Major League coverage. I'll join you on the pregame show at 1 o'clock, and then Tim will join Jack Buck for the Cubs against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it'll be Dick Stockton and Jim Cott for the Dodgers and the Houston Astros. We hope you will join us for that. In the meantime, baseball, it means different things to different people. We'll leave you with some of those individual thoughts. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
It's about renewal. The end of the winter, the beginning of spring. It's like having an extra birthday, but instead of feeling older, you feel younger, and you're flooded with memories of the past, of DiMaggio swinging that beautiful swing, Williams rounding second. It's all the memories of the past focused again on the present.
It's being a child all over again, and it's having the most fun that I could ever imagine having in life.
The opening day for me is like Christmas. I'm going to open a new package. It's like Easter. It's blossoming of a new spring.
It's like getting a new girlfriend. You know, coming out here and you always try to make that good impression.
It's kind of like the birth of a new baby. And there's the travail and the pain, and more so this spring. When first pitch is thrown on opening day, it's like the baby has arrived. And I think, to me, that's what it looks like every year.
Baseball means life is back. Things are good. Let's get on with it.
Play ball!
Sports